Elon Musk has declared that he is the new chief DEI officer of the Walt Disney Company. Let's talk about that on That Park Place. Good morning, everyone. I am Jonas J. Campbell, and joining me today is Mr. Vash Sky. He's got a new setup, and I would say, Vash, you look like you've just merged with Hulu Plus.
New color and everything, right? Is that right? Is that what we're going with here?
Is it the same colors, just picked up different by the sensor in your fancy smanchy new camera?
Same colors, but yes, new sensor pickup right there. Hopefully, looks pretty good. Hopefully, it'll look even better if I'm ever full screen. I noticed, there was a little bit of noise that I wanted to get rid of, so I went all out. Hopefully, awesome. It's a better view for you guys at home.
Let's hope. Let's bring in the ladies, as it were. All right, so we want to talk about this story out of Deadline. April Fool, Elon Musk says he's off to Disney to make content more woke. This by Carolyn Frost. Elon Musk has led this year's April Fool's pranks, telling his 179.5 million followers on X, formerly Twitter, owned by him, that he's off to a new job at Disney. The Tesla chief wrote, wait, we're going to go to original sources on this one here. Elon Musk here on X, and look, he's got that little X badge, so he must be in charge of it or something. Excited to join at Disney as their chief DEI officer. Can't wait to work with Bob Iger and Kathleen Kennedy to make their content more woke. Even the linguini.
The linguini is just a great line. If anybody has ever seen the Pandaverse, you'll note that famously Kathleen Kennedy as Cartman from that show goes to a restaurant, or at least, no, the Disney company sends him to a restaurant, and he orders the linguini and asks for many things to be in that dish. Right.
One of them to be putting a chick in it and something else.
Yes, exactly.
I'm not going to say it, but I think everyone knows the line at this point. This is funny to me. First of all, tagging at Disney, I would love to see the social media manager over at Disney's reaction to finding out they've been tagged by Elon Musk, the brief heart attack that they might have to try to find out what they're going to have to report up the chain to Bob Iger, only to find out it is this nice little April Fool's prank. I do see a couple of things here that I find funny. Of course, the last time we found Elon Musk reporting on Bob Iger, he was, unless he has shares, I suppose it's just a suggestion that Bob Iger be fired. I don't think that Elon Musk has said that Kathleen Kennedy needs to be fired, but obviously he's referencing South Park here in the Enter the Pandaverse special that I was forced to watch in order to report on it here on this channel. Vash, do you like April Fool's jokes of this caliber?
I do. Now, it's kind of funny because I used to have a kind of a hate relationship towards April Fools because, as I was trying to, follow all the news and catch up with everything in the dawn of the social media era, it was quite frustrating to have all these, just ridiculous news stories come out all the time. So I usually stayed off social media. But now, hey, look, we get the enjoyment from Elon Musk. Excited to be the new DEI officer. Isn't that fun? So, hey, it's a great time.
That's right. And as far as we know, by the way, we do not know who the new chief DEI officer, chief diversity officer is the literal name of the position. When Latondra Newton left the company very suddenly, she has yet to be replaced. I'm sure that her position was absorbed into HR itself. There was some question about whether or not they were just going to replace that position or if they were going to absorb it into HR. And in my opinion, diversity officers and DEI officers are kind of like HR in its most potent, most concentrated form within a company, a department that has an unusual amount of sway over the rest of the company, especially at someone like Disney there. I want to point out this is hilarious to me. The Elon Musk parody account says, "Sorry guys, posted this from the wrong account." And Elon Musk responded with the teary eyes laughing emoji.
That's some fantastic stuff right there. We know that Elon has been pretty hostile towards the Walt Disney Company, and it's interesting how informed he is on a lot of the stuff going on right now. Obviously, we've seen him with Nelson Peltz, but his knowledge even goes beyond that. And really, to let's say to have a Panderverse type response right here, it takes some knowledge, it takes some skill, and so I find it interesting how closely Elon is monitoring all this stuff.
Yes. Now, I will add, we are going to add even more context here. You thought this was going to be an April Fool's video, didn't you? We're adding even more context here. Did you know that Financial Times article, there was a single quote that, of course, made it to just absolutely floated to the top. And the Hollywood Reporter has been pushing that particular quote over and over and over again about Nelson Peltz questioning whether or not you have to have an all-black cast or an all-female cast in a Marvel movie. And Disney thinks, oh, this is the end of the argument. Therefore, if he said this, obviously he is a problem. I don't think Disney understands that there's actually a large portion of the audience that is asking the same question. As we've seen some problems with Phase 4 and Phase 5, that maybe that question is a little bit more substantial than their dismissing of it out of hand. There are other quotes from that article that are fascinating to me. First of all, we know that Elon Musk and Nelson Peltz went to the premiere of a movie. I think it was called Lola, that featured one of Peltz's children in a director role or a writing role, or doesn't matter to me. That famous picture now, or infamous picture, of Elon Musk and Nelson Peltz and two of his family members there, all laughing and smiling together. And that quote from Elon Musk goes, "Oh, just palling around with friends," and turns and kind of looks over his shoulder at Nelson Peltz and says, "Thinking about companies to acquire." And then Elon Musk somehow does a wink that does not include a wink. Very awkward, very funny smile. The Financial Times article indicated they actually have been hanging out and discussing the state of culture in America and globally for some time, predating that incident in which Elon Musk showed up in the same leather jacket that he, let's say, rebuked Bob Iger on the stage at the New York Times DealBook Summit. Vash, is there any additional context that we want to add here before we wrap this thing up?
Well, I mean, palling around with Nelson Peltz is currently in a proxy battle is quite the context for sure for people. Yeah, and that quote there from Nelson Peltz about not necessarily wanting an all-black Marvel film or an all-female Marvel film. Look, it's a difficult conversation to have, but if you are bankrolling 4-quadrant budgets, these really should be all-inclusive, right? These really should be very diverse casts appealing to the widest gamut possible. One can think of, let's say, the Fast and Furious franchise, for example. You don't see just guys or just gals or just one group or another. A lot of people are represented because those movies, obviously, the studios want them to be as successful as possible. And I think that's kind of the route that Nelson Peltz was going down. And so, he's getting a lot of undue flack for that. But if you look at the economics of the business, it makes a lot of sense.
Right. And I would say that telling a story that happens to be all black or a story that happens to be all female, that's not really a problem. But when you market the film based off of things like that, and you set out intentionally to go do that with your multi-million-dollar, probably $250 million film,
right,
then it needs to also appeal to everyone. So if you're going to spend that much making a film, then you need to appeal to everyone, and saying we are intentionally doing it in this way, that is just this thing. You have to make sure, just for profitability's sake, that everyone is on board with that decision. And again, speaking to that idea that maybe the Walt Disney Company has lost its finger on the pulse there.
Right.
Maybe there's a time for not necessarily revisiting the race issue, but revisiting whether or not it needs to be the primary focus of the company. One thing I'd like to add, of course, is at this point, we would expect that if Elon Musk held shares in the Walt Disney Company, that he would have had to have declared that he owned shares in the Walt Disney Company, unless he invested in something else that has a significant number of shares. I'm not saying he is. I'm just saying that it's probably not in the stars for Elon Musk to step in, put his finger on the scale, and say, no, I am the reason that such and such person got onto the board. Nelson Peltzer, Jay Rasulo. I don't know why I said such and such. But that being said, we want to throw it to the audience. What do you think of this one? Is this going to be one of the greater April Fool's pranks? I think in 2 days we will find out, perhaps. Of course, like this video. If you like this video, thank you so much for showing up here and watching to the end. And of course, if you have, consider subscribing to That Park Place for all the news that should be fun.
Thanks for watching That Park Place News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.